Just a drop, just a drop, just a drop is all you need. Just a drop, just a drop. Hello and welcome to the Raindrop Broadcast, where just a drop is all you need. I am Dr. Angela D. Stanley, your host and founder. We will today talk about the negotiation and deal-making side of the entertainment world, and we will talk about what it takes to get to the yes. We have been granted an exclusive interview with the one and only CEO and founder of Airtight Entertainment, Pastor Kynne Smith. He is a Grammy Award nominee, a Stellar Award-winning producer, singer, songwriter, and musician. And to add to his hats, he is now pastor of New Covenant Praise and Worship Center, and he has taken out of the time of his busy schedule to grant us an exclusive interview. So before we go into the interview, I'd like to play a little clip of his song Back to Your First Love. Man, it's powerful, but this is from his album Rise. And after you listen to that, get ready for our interview with Pastor Kynne Smith of Airtight Entertainment. Enjoy.
I'ma be the one you had on your mind. We talked about everything. You knew the joy it brings. No difference, good or bad, just special moments that we had. They laugh, you cry in pain. Maybe cover when you found it. Say I never gave up on you. You pushed me to the side, traded me for something new, but you never find another one who loves you quite like I do. But I will be the one you can run into. Come back, come back, come back to your first love. Come back, come back to your first love. I gave you everything, said I'll be your everything. Every day was a new joy that I bring. But you chose to listen to the one who would not die for you. Daddy's got your life all up in shame. Whoa, I never gave up on you. You pushed me to the side, traded me for something new, but you never find another one who loves you.
Okay. Well, hello.
Good evening.
Hello. Could you please, just for the recording, state your name and your business?
My name is Kynne Smith, and my business name is Airtight Entertainment.
Wow, wonderful. Could you please tell us a little bit about yourself and your business?
Sure. I am I guess you could say, world-renowned recording artist / producer, songwriter, and I've been in the business now for over 35 years. Writing songs for other artists and just producing, and then as an artist myself, I've been able to be blessed with a few awards, namely a Stellar Award, which is actually the equivalent of a Grammy in the secular world.
Wow.
But I've been also nominated for 2 Grammys.
Wow.
During my lifetime in my career. So I've truly have been blessed with that. And so what we do here at Airtight Entertainment is we produce other artists as well as our own, and we do our best to try to make them comfortable and giving them the best film that they could possibly be in their career, especially musically. And that's pretty much wrapped up in a nutshell what we do. We don't try to complicate it. You know, we do it so that, you know, everybody's happy so that we get the return. You know, I think a good production brings forth, you know, consistent clients, and that's what we like. We try to be consistent in everything we do. That being said, you know, that's who we are.
Absolutely. That sounds awesome, and congrats to you on all of your accolades and your achievements. And I understand also that you are in a pastoralship role. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'm in pastoral. Now I'm pastoring now, and I was assistant pastor for 8 years in Los Angeles, Inglewood, California, matter of fact, under Victory in Christ Ministries under Dr. Stephen Mitchell.
Wow. Okay.
And he appointed me assistant pastor 8 years ago, but prior to that, I was the youth pastor for 6 years prior to that. And so it's been a blessing now. And so now when I launched to my own, I've been pastoring now, full-time pastor as a senior pastor now for 2 years.
All right. That's wonderful.
Now we're God is blessing. We're growing. We've relocated here to Atlanta, and Lithonia, New Covenant of Praise Worship Center. And God is really opening up some doors for us because some of the things that are happening is just totally what you could call it. God then totally.
Absolutely. Well, that's wonderful. I've had a chance to experience some of your work, and just even talking to you, just really hearing your heart and your passion for what you do, and that's wonderful to me. Now, today I want to ask you a little bit about getting to the yes. I know that in what you do, even in pastoralship, we have to go, there's business and negotiation. Of course, we're going to actually highlight the Airtight Entertainment, however. But Roger Fisher is one of the writers, and he talks about negotiators now. He said that negotiators are people first. He said they're people first. And in your industry, with hearing that, what do you think about that statement, with negotiators are people first?
I think it's a very live statement because, and I say live meaning it's very, very to the very, very well to the point, because we are people first, and you have to think about the individuals that you're dealing with. And sometimes you have to almost be who they are in order to be able to speak to them where they are in their where they're on their level. In other words, that's what I'm trying to say. Find my words. You have to almost become who
I do.
In order to negotiate what you're trying to get across to them to win. And then you want a situation where it's a win-win situation for everybody. You don't want to get too much into a win-lose type of lifestyle, because it really comes up. A lot of times you may find out yourself on the short end a lot of times. So if you negotiate, just thinking about being sensitive to where their life is. I can't always be the strong arm type of guy pushing my opinions and my views or my wants and my needs on someone, and they may be in a mindset of crisis, or they may be going through some things. So you have to really be sensitive to where they are.
That is so amazing that you're bringing these things up. You could have written this book yourself there, Mr. Smith. You could have written this book yourself, because those are some of the key points that Fisher and Uri talks about. They talk about negotiators being people first. They talk about the difference, and you made a key point, because they deal with the emotions as well, and they talked about how you should be able to put yourself in other people's shoes, and that sounds like what you do. Now, one other thing that they talk about, for the record, do you have or have you ever in the past worked with family?
Yes, I have. I've worked with several families.
Okay. So you have currently, do you have family members on your staff or in your business?
Surprisingly, I have my sister.
Wow. Okay.
On my staff, and sometimes now mind you, it's funny. Now I fired my sister a while back.
Okay.
And I had to rehired her because I felt like she was she was mature enough now to understand that this business is not personal.
Exactly.
And that you have to not only respect the business itself, but respect who I am in the position that I'm placed in, obligations and responsibilities to up. So it can't be favoritism in all cases. And so she understood that. Once she understood that, she learned now how to take the responsibility of her position a lot more serious, and we get a lot more done. Everybody wins.
Everybody wins. I love that. And that's amazing. You actually went right on to, because this is part B to this question. And Fisher, they talk about separating the people from the problem when you're negotiating. And so the question I was going to ask you, which you pretty much answered it, was how do you separate? You said your sister's on your staff now, and so how do you separate the people from the problem? when you have to negotiate or get to some kind of deal and say this is what's going to happen. So how were you able to separate her from the problem or the issue?
Well, you have to take emotion and feelings out of it.
Okay.
For me, I have to take it out of it. Although I love my sister, I have to look at the bigger picture. What's more important, as far as the circumstance at hand. My relationship with my sister will always be my sister. I took that into play. Mm-hmm. Regardless of how you feel about me, you're always going to be my sister.
Right.
You will heal. If you're offended, you'll get over it eventually. Mm-hmm. At the same time, there are certain you have to attack the situation delicately. Now, even though she is my sister, I have to treat her as such. She's still my sister.
That's right.
I want her to think that I don't love her, so I can't be both barbaric with the situation and treat it as if it was not important, because it's very important. But at the same time, I have to protect the interests of the business that we're building. And I have to protect it to a point where, okay, there are other lives at stake here, and I can't jeopardize their lives because I'm trying to save one, and
right.
I'm trying to respect her feelings and ignore everybody else. I can't do that. It's like ministry. I can't always be subjected or look at one individual person at the church as, when they have issues and ignore everybody else, then I'll lose the ministry.
That's so. I appreciate how you articulated that. That's going to lead me into our next question. When you were talking about emotions, you can't let your emotions get in place. Now, Fisher and Ury, they talk about this particular thing, perception and emotions. They talk about that, and some people think that when you're in negotiation, they think that being nice is the answer. And what we've learned in this negotiation project is that being nice is no answer. Now, your company being founded on strong Christian values, which I've heard, and even in our conversation, I can tell that you're really based on strong Christian values. So how do you handle the issue of, being nice is no answer, meaning that, people look and say, oh, you're a Christian, you shouldn't, be this way, you shouldn't be that way. How do you handle the issue of when it's time to negotiate something, you can't be Mr. Nice Guy?
Well, I totally agree, because nice has never gotten me anywhere in the past.
Okay.
And matter of fact, it has truly cost me a great deal, But, being a negotiator and in the business that I am, you can be firm and you can be very, very aggressive and polite at the same time. You can be a no-nonsense type of person, but not be completely disrespectful and rude. I can tell you my decision or make a decision on whatever it is that we're negotiating and still have respect for you. But know that my no's are no's and my yeas are yeas. It's just the bottom line. I don't have to get all indignant and rude about the situation, and you still understand that I'm serious about what I'm talking about. I'm not and it's still nice to me as far as I'm concerned in a roundabout way. It's just that stern nice.
That's good. And it kind of takes you to the question of what would Jesus do? People say, well, what would Jesus do? And when you look really in the stories in the Bible, Jesus didn't play. It wasn't, it wasn't I'm nice, I'm this and that. Jesus was about the Father's business. He was trying to get to the yes and get to the issue and what the point was, but yet he moved in love and compassion. And as you said, you can be polite and still be very stern. And so I think that that's a very good balance that you have. Now, when we talked about being nice, they also deal with dirty tricks. They talk about people using dirty tricks to get you to sign a deal or to get you to be swayed to what they want. And I'm just kind of screeching to ask you, have you ever known anyone, has anyone ever tried to use dirty tactics or tricks to get you to sign something or negotiate with you?
All the time.
So how do you handle that?
And they do. They try all the time. It's always good to do your homework. That's why it's always good to investigate those that you're in negotiation with. And that's just me personally, to do a little background, a little research on what you're getting involved in before you get involved in it, and be on top of your game. So by the time, they're ready to pull their little stunt, hey, look, and that's why it's always good to have your feet planted, about your decisions, you'll accept and know what you want,
I tell you.
Integrity, just say, hey, look, my integrity says no. Integrity for me is a lot in business.
Yeah. Like I said, Pastor, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry.
People have tried. They have tried to bamboozle me into deals, and even with performances. And I'm like, okay, well, this is not the agreement. And but if you will, and we'll try to make it. I'm like, no, this is not going to happen today. So you have to be, like, again, I say, you have to be firm in your decisions, and just have a backbone, basically.
And that's great. Really, you've answered this last one. We talk about Batnas. Are you familiar with the Batna?
No.
Okay, it's the best alternative to a negotiated agreement, and the negotiation project, they encourage you to always have a Batna, because you need to be able to have just what you said. You need to know your facts. You need to know, you do your homework. You need to know all of this, and you need to have a best alternative in case, because you can't just, well, I'll say $10 million. Well, hey, what about 95? So you just back and forth. So there has to be some kind of alternative, to get to a negotiated agreement. And so in doing that, they ask, how do you protect yourself in the industry? And it sounds like to me that you do some of these things, and I want you to chime in on this, that you do your homework. You don't let your emotions get the best of you, and you say what you say and you mean what you say. And so to get to...
I'm very, when I'm in business, when meetings like that, I'm very, I'm not stone-faced or cold or anything like that, but I'm very stern about my decisions, and even though my personal emotions inside may be a little, sometimes they get flustered, and sometimes, I may want to swing left when I need to go right, but, I know that for the betterment of the business, I have to be open-minded to several things, but I can't allow people to sway me based on my emotions.
Absolutely.
It may look like a good deal. Every good deal ain't a good deal.
Yeah. You have to be wise, don't you?
Yeah.
Because people do try to bamboozle you, and it's sad. They're even in the Christian world.
I was just getting ready to say.
Yeah, even in the Christian world. I was talking to a colleague the other day, and it's just so unfortunate that it's what they call is a, quote, dog eat world,
I might interject.
Go ahead.
Some of the projects that we do at Airtight Entertainment, I would say 75% is gospel. I find it a lot of times at the worst times. Most of my, like I said, 75% is gospel. And that's where I get most of the problems.
Wow. I wonder why.
I say church folk. I can't say Christians.
Right.
And I did a sermon about this. It's because Christians do Christ stuff. They do Christ stuff, Christ-like stuff. Church folk do church things. And they're always trying to find, they're trying to find a hookup. Can you give me the hookup? And they're always giving me a song and dance about what they can do, what they can't do after the agreement is made. And then they wonder and get angry or agitated with me when the equipment is shut off, the doors are closed, the locks are put on, and the lights and they're like, what's happening? Well, you're part of the deal. Well, man, we're doing this for the body of Christ. No, if we were doing this for Christ, you would do the right thing.
That's right. That's right. And off the record, I've heard this statement, and I've used it before. People want a whole lot of sugar for a dime.
I like that. I feel that myself.
They want a whole lot of everything for a dime. So, I love this commercial. It's an insurance commercial for MetLife, and so they're coming up with a good price about insurance. And so the peanut characters, they say, I know we should sell it for 5 cents. And the guy's like, everything can't be 5 cents.
Exactly. He did say that yesterday. That was funny.
Yeah, so that's kind of how some people's mentalities are. Is like, hey, can you come and record this CD for me, and I'll give you 5 cents.
Yeah, and unfortunately, like I was speaking earlier, I ran. That was the situation we were dealing with a couple of days ago, which I dealt with today.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted to fly me to Los Angeles to do a project. But they didn't want to pay anything. But they wanted to suck up all my time.
Right.
I'm like, I don't even work that way. I'm sorry. It's just not that I don't think it's a great present. It's not worth the time. And I don't mean to be offensive about it, but that's just my policy.
Right.
So, and when you find what you do, you find out later on that people will respect you when you stand your ground. They'll either do one or two things. They'll either get on board or they won't bother you at all. Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
That's what happened. And so even with today, the project that I was working on, and they asked me, well, great, can you do it? And I'm like, no, for another fee, sure, not a problem, but I don't work like that. So, of course, the complaint was, well, we can't this, we can't that. And I'm like, okay, fine. And we left it alone. But the next time, hours later, I'm getting a phone call saying, okay, we'll pay the fee.
Right. So it came from somewhere. It was just that whole negotiation tactic of, well, I don't really have it, and to see if you would just bow down to that. And so, but you didn't bow down. So you ended up getting, sounds like, a favorable outcome.
Yeah, and getting back to the niceness, and it wasn't that I wasn't nice, because I think I was real nice. I was just stern, like I said earlier. In the midst of the conversation, I said, well, can you say, no, I can't do that, no.
Mm-hmm.
I did it with a smile, so to speak, and I didn't back down. I said, no, I don't work that way.
Yeah, I think that's wonderful. And then also we talk about having self-confidence, and that being very important in negotiation. And so when you're confident, and, you can be nice, you can be whatever, but when you're confident, you have a bonus, you know what you want. And, and so sometimes people have a problem with those that are confident and know what they want. But then there are others that respect it, like myself. So I respect that. And that has really ended. Thank you. Our actual interview has went a little bit over, but it was some wonderful, wonderful information you've given. I'm finished with my questions. If there's anything else you'd like to give input on before we end this interview, I would welcome it.
The last point that I wanted to make is that, every individual should know his worth and stand on that you know what you're worth, and don't let anybody try to sell you cheap.
Oh, wow. I love it. I love it. I have another commercial I'm going to tell you about, but I'll do that off the record. I'm a commercial lady. Commercials, I can watch commercials all day long. I'm a commercial lady. I love to see how people try to convey their point and to get you to buy what they're selling. And some commercials are a trip. But anyway,
my favorite one, and I love it to this day, was this Pop-Tart commercial.
Oh, stop it. That's mine. Pop-Tart is my favorite.
That is my favorite all-time commercial.
Which one, the photo booth or?
They're going to hide me. They're going to eat me.
Hot, so easy. Too easy. Okay, I got to end this.
I'm like, man, I love it.
Too easy. I love it. I just walk around the house, I'm telling you, and I just say, like, too easy.
Exactly, and that's because that's how I look at a lot of things, that all that care, too easy.
It's too easy. It's too easy. And sometimes we think that people trying to sell us stuff, just because you see a sign that says photo booth, like on the Pop-Tart commercial, that doesn't mean what it is. And that's what people try to sell us. Just because you see something that says top-notch entertainment, blah, 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 that really doesn't mean what it is. It may not be top-notch. And so you have to really investigate and get down to the yes. But it has been a pleasure, Pastor Kynne Smith of Airtight Entertainment. Thank you so much for indulging me and
for having us. We appreciate it.
Awesome.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, our exclusive interview with CEO and founder of Airtight Entertainment, Pastor Kynne Smith. I am your host and founder, Dr. Angela D. Stanley. And do remember, it doesn't take a whole lot to believe that just a drop is all you need. Until then, take care.
Just a drop, just a drop, just a drop.